the ex-Victorian, looking to make it 4 wins in the West. They're now set. Racing. Late arrival, bounced out quickly from the inside for Hearn. Will lead them comfortably. Le Messenger gathering speed. Forever Boy, Snippy Sean out there 3 and 4 deep respectively. On their inside next is Dennis Chew. Don't Trust Judas, the rail pushing through shortly after. The stablemates go back, including I'm Napote and I'm Crafty. And last is Mojo's Luck. Late arrival held the front going down the back straight when they'd settled. Late arrival settles by 3/4 over Le Messenger, and they're just hacking along. Over on the inside, Don't Trust Judas tracking through now to be third. Snippy Sean found itself 3 deep, just in front of Dennis Chew, booting up between horses. A length away then came Forever Boy when they leave the back and head along by the 900. Over on the inside next, I'm Crafty, I'm Napote and Mojo's Luck at the rear. To the side they go by the 750 mark, and late arrival, the Great Southerner, doing it very comfortably for Hearn. Had Le Messenger off the bridle and given a taste of the stick at the 600 metre mark on the outside of Don't Trust Judas. Behind them, Snippy Sean. The rails is Dennis Chew. Forever Boy about to pull out and get going, coming after the leader, who's rolling along at the 400. Followed further back then by I'm Napote, I'm Crafty, and last Mojo's Luck. Late arrival balances up at the 300 mark. Late arrival by a length to Don't Trust Judas. Forever Boy now being put to the acid test, and down the outside starting to run on well is I'm Napote at the 175. Late arrival, Don't Trust Judas. Late arrival, Don't Trust Judas and Forever Boy, and also Dennis Chew. Late arrival, Dennis Chew diving. Dennis Chew went to late arrival. Dennis Chew's got home to win it. Dennis Chew in an upset from late arrival. Forever Boy. I'm Crafty finished off well behind those in front of its stablemate I'm Napote. Then Mojo's Luck. A gap behind them then to Don't Trust Judas. Then came Le Messenger, who was really under heavy pressure well before the home corner. And Snippy Sean has put in a very disappointing performance to finish back there near enough to last. Well, late arrivals, WA winning run comes to an end, and Dennis Chew has landed the money at around $20. Number 9, Dennis Chew gets the prize here for David Harrison and Patrick Carberry over late arrival, Forever Boy and I'm Crafty running on. Snippy Sean did nothing, dropped right out. Le Messenger, there was some support for also, was under enormous duress before the corner. But it's Dennis Chew who was able to track up, not far behind the pace between horses, who responds to Carberry's left and right whip-handed action there just to keep the horse going along in a straight line, and eventually picking up late arrival, attempting to do it all of the way, and has got there at the finish by a long neck, the same margin, second and third, in a race where they just dawdled around in 1:39.03, and they back into that with a 600 split of 35.99. So Dennis Chew, who has been out of the winner's circle for a little while, he's a Jimmy Chew Nimbletoes gelding, prepared by David Harrison and ridden by Patrick Carberry, posts a bit of an upset result here over late arrival by Piero, trained by Indiana Wynett, ridden by Alex Hearn, and Forever Boy by Charm Spirit, Clint Johnston Porter for the Michael Grantham stable. 9, 3, 5 and 2 after race number 3. The Peters Investments handicap is the next over 1400. Number 2, Rockin' the Jam, is the scratching. Start time is 1:51. Let's go downstairs and we'll go to Lockie here with something of a surprise, I think, to most, with Dennis Chew getting home at pretty good odds, $20 in the market when they jumped on the SP.
Thanks, Darren. Nice result for David Harrison and Connections as I join Harrow now. Harrow, congratulations on the win, Dennis Chew. He's been building towards a result like this for a long time, but today he gets the money.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, no, it was a good ride, beautiful ride, and like I said to Joey, I said, you've got to switch him on. Like he's a bit cunning, getting a bit cunning now, so I said, just give him a left and a right, you know, like don't muck around with one whip on one side, so change the whip over. And as you see, left hand, he didn't really want to have a go. As soon as you put it in his right, he said, where'd that come from? He just took off.
In the run, what were you thinking? Because at the top of the straight, he was in a beautiful position, but he just didn't really want to travel on the bridle.
Didn't want to travel, no, until he changed the whip to his other hand, and then he and he shocked. I think it shocked him. So it worked this time anyway.
Now that he is a little bit older, do you feel like the mile is his go? I remember when he first came across to WA, he was a sharp 1,000-metre horse.
Yeah, well, he won his first start of 1,000, yeah, but come from last. But yeah, I don't know. I think 14 a mile is probably about where he's at, yeah. But just got to keep him interested. That's the main thing. Just keep changing things up to keep his mind on the job because he's get a bit cunning.
Behind the scenes, what do you look to do with him to ensure that he keeps enjoying his work and he keeps enjoying his racing? Because as you said, he sometimes doesn't put everything into his races.
No, we just got to keep him happy, I think. Just got to keep him happy, and it's Paddy's job to keep him happy and switch him on race day. So, yeah, it worked out good.
Paddy's kept you happy with the winner. Well done here.
Yeah, good on him. Tough.
There's David Harrison after the winner of Dennis Chew. Really nice result for a bunch of happy connections. They've had to be patient over 400 days since he last saluted the judge, Scotty, but he's been a great acquisition for the David Harrison team ever since he came across to the west. He won his first ever start at Pinjarra Park down the 1,000-metre straight, but he's been a nice money spinner ever since.
I think you might even find that could be the first, Paddy Carberry could be the first person apart from Paul Harvey to win on him in WA. Those early runs when he was winning down the straight and really starting to put a bit of a form run together. That was all when the Pontiff was riding. So that's another question for David Harrison. We'll have to ask him. He messaged into radio not that long ago and said that the Pontiff was going to try and ride from the start of April. Well, we're now towards the back end of May, so we could put out the question mark there. Where is the Pontiff?
Where is the Pontiff? One of our absolute greats in the West. Paul Harvey, the long pub debate is whether you'd take Pike or the Pontiff at his very best, and I'm not sure. I think recency bias tells me Pike, but it was Pat Carberry who got the job done for David Harrison aboard Dennis Chew, and interestingly, David Harrison went into the race with the plan that this horse needs switching on, and he gave Pat Carberry the instructions to use the whip both in his left and his right, and it seems to have done the trick here today.
And it's probably a bit of a luxury that we get to speak to Harrow, because when we get to Belmont Park, more often than not, he'll head to Broome. So all of a sudden, opening meeting at Broome today, it won't be too long until Harrow heads up that way and gets a little bit of sun on the back. But Paddy Carberry is the winning rider. He's just weighed in. Paddy, well, $21 on the tote says it's probably a bit of a happy surprise.
I think he's the sort of horse that he's probably got a few tricks and tricked him today.
How did you trick him?
Well, I'd never ridden him in a race, but he looked like he'd had a race or two won before, but didn't really have that much guts and determination. And Dave said to try and use the whip in both hands, which I was sort of half thinking that might be the go-to. But he settled well, and he was probably cramped in between runners in the run. Probably wasn't 100% happy, but once he got clear air, he sort of started to have a crack, and then halfway down the straight, I could feel him half thinking, oh, nah, he was thinking about dinner or something like that. But yeah, it was good to be able to get him over the line. Grateful for the opportunities from the Harrison stable.
Now that you've got me distracted, what's on the menu tonight for Patrick Carberry?
I think the cook was going to get Chinese takeaway, so might be Hungry Jack's now anyway.
Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
There's Pat Carberry combining with David Harrison. I'll try to slide my way down to Pat Carberry's residence if that is the case. Dennis Chew returns to the winner's circle for the first time in over 400 days. He takes out the reliable asset maintenance handicap over the mile. We'll take a short break and then we'll be back for the opening race of the Broome season.